Welcome to the Juice Box with Juice Springsteen, covering the week that was in professional wrestling. Hello, everybody, and welcome to what is arguably the biggest pro wrestling weekend ever, dare I say, at least since 1987 or 1988, when we had Clash of the Champions and WrestleMania 4, Survivor Series 87, Starrcade 87. This week, it was almost head-to-head, All Out in WrestlePalooza, AEW, and WWE. But alas, one company thought a little bit better of it. One company is going to try to get the buzz ahead of WrestlePalooza, and that is All Elite Wrestling with All Out. And here for not just All Out's predictions, but also for WrestlePalooza's predictions, not the normal crew. We've got a guest, the one, the only. He's the hardest part of the ring. I mean, it's the hardest part of the ring. Apron Bump.
Oh, you had it right. I am the hardest part of the ring, folks. Yeah, you could see it.
How you been, man?
Been good. Just, watching NASCAR, watching a little wrestling, doing all those things, all the normal hardest part of the ring things. But I appreciate you having me. Always a hoot coming on here, sticking your straw in my mouth and sucking all of the juice out. So yeah, glad to be here.
Nothing gets my juices flowing like some 90s nostalgia with pro wrestling and NASCAR. Let me tell you what.
Ooh, the old WCW NASCAR. What was the driver?
So, well, there's a few. I'm not going to go into the whole history, but I'll go off the top of my head and we'll see what we can come up with. The 29 car was Steve Grissom, and that was the general purple and gold WCW car. There was also a Busch Series car promoting Super Brawl 5, which if you find that photo, I would love to have that in a 1/64 scale car, but I don't think they ever made it, but you never know.
Yeah, it's pretty obscure, I guess.
Yeah. They did a Goldberg car. I think Jerry Nadeau may have driven that. Another WCW car. The one that I recall the most, though, is when Kyle Petty joined the NWO, the 49 black and white NWO car. How sick was that?
That's the one I remember. That's the only one I remember. But man, what a time! Everybody was turning heel all across the world.
Seriously, with the fact that you get a NASCAR. Look, WWE had Bob Sparky Plug Holly. WCW literally had Kyle Petty. That's pretty cool. That's pretty impressive.
I mean, I think Bob Holly would probably win in a wrestling match.
But we don't care about that. Come on. Who wants to have the best lap around Martinsville? Come on.
That's a good point. Bob knew his way around a race car, though, so I don't know. Maybe we need to make that happen. Really figure it out.
Hey, both guys are still around. Get them in a car, put them on the screen, let's duel it out.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's get it. Let's get racing. Let's just talk about NASCAR, actually. I don't want to talk about All Out.
I'm always going to pop for a Darrell Waltrip NASCAR on Fox mention with the boogity, boogity, boogity. That, and then they do the crank it up on like the third lap. They'd bow out of the commentary and turn they'd like, my parents said they'd turn the TV up as loud as they could, and you could hear the. And it was just like they turned the decibels up to 1,000 on the feed. The fun of old NASCAR, yeah, it's not the same.
No, it's still fun though. Still loud. Still, if you go to a race nowadays, it still feels like the 90s. Like I feel like it's like the last bastion of like what life used to be. You can just bring your beer into the thing with a cooler and take your shirt off. It's a whole thing.
Oh yeah, well, especially because NASCAR takes place all the way through the fall months, and go into the southern tracks. You could take your shirt off in November, and it's still going to be fine. Why not? Rip your shirt off like Hogan. Throw a Zen in like your Stan Hansen, if your current Stan Hansen would throw a Zen in, I think. Although I saw him and I don't think he was doing anything like that. I think he's cleaned up his act all these years later. So
we gotta at least be doing Zins. A little Lucy, perhaps. What are the
maybe
other gimmicks?
I don't know. Maybe Maybe he just drinks energy drinks now. I don't know. I think he was just sipping on water when I saw him.
Big monster guy, Stan Hansen.
Oh my god!
Notorious.
Could you imagine if that was the thing back in the day? Like instead of chewing tobacco, like it was like the flip the gimmick to where now to get hyped, you drink a Red Bull, your Monster. That would be a gimmick back then. It's like the hyped up, hopped up on energy drink guy.
I feel like they
Instead of Steve Austin, he's just like smashing Monsters and Rockstar and whatever, just pouring it all over. It's the stickiest ring of all time.
The stickiest ring, he says. That's that's a pay-per-view name if I have ever heard one.
Oh no, that you're mistaking Great Balls of Fire.
I always get those confused. You're right. My apologies.
That's right. But a show we haven't yet talked about and we're going to talk about is AEW All Out. So they had this day already. They had it marked first in Toronto, September 20th, 8 p.m. To quote the great Lee Corso, WWE said, "Not so fast, my friend." And
hey, they don't pay attention to AEW, man. What we do here. That's all they're focused on.
It's what we do. And what we do is bring in Pat McAfee. We nix the Peacock deal well in advance by saying, well, hey, we had Evolution as a PLE. We did 2 nights of SummerSlam. That counts as 2 shows. So let's start the ESPN thing right now. And they did, and we're getting 2 shows. So WrestlePalooza plopped in at 7 p.m. AEW said, I don't think so, and moved it back. As recently as this recording, it is now 3 p.m. So I don't think it's going to change anymore, but 3 p.m. Forbidden Door and All In Texas both had afternoon start times. Now, of course, one of those, All In, was moved back due to Saturday night's main event. Wow. And Forbidden Door was in the UK, so you could see why that show is in the afternoon. But so you made a little joke there. What are your thoughts on the counter programming? Because outside of me obviously seeing that it's what is happening with WWE, as a fan, first of all, I was thrilled. Like, wow, I can Monday Night Wars to TV this pay-per-view versus PLE, but now I can watch the majority of All Out and probably all of WrestlePalooza, if not a little bit of overlap. So what say you?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely smart for them, for AEW, to not try to compete, because I don't think anybody benefits from that. But I mean, in this day and age, even if they were on the same time, you could watch one, and then it's all streaming and on demand, so you could watch it the next day if you wanted to, which I would venture to guess probably a lot of people are going to do with WrestlePalooza if they plan on watching both, because, I mean, just the AEW pay-per-view alone looks to be pretty draining based on the card. I can't imagine trying to sink another pay-per-view in there after that. I mean, people will do it, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, competition, everybody says it. It always breeds good content, as, everybody's trying to raise the bar, but ultimately, I think it's fine. But I also think it's smart for AEW to move their time, as, as crappy as it is for WWE to try to neuter their viewership, but it makes sense from a business perspective. So,
do you think it's a slippery slope though with AEW? Like, should AEW always now? Here's what I'll say. Tony Khan says we had success with the afternoon shows. We want to give it to our fans, and I can see it from the perspective of the fans who may watch both shows without him mentioning that will get to see most of All Out, and then they can tune into WWE when. Before again, it's not that you have to have a choice. You got to believe that a lot of these fans would have both screens if possible. And yet,
sure.
Now we're sitting here and we're going to get one and we're going to get the other. So do you think it's a slippery slope? Like, should Tony Khan bow to that, or should they just hold their pay-per-view dates closer? Like, what do you think the best move is? Because WWE is seemingly going to continue to do this.
I think there's a time and place for them to kind of go on the offense. Like, I mean, WWE is hot business-wise right now, so I don't think it's smart to try to compare at this point in time. But if there's ever a point where WWE and their viewership and their popularity begins to dip, I could see AEW trying to just hold in and trying to compete. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe they just own the afternoons now. Maybe AEW pay-per-views in the afternoon just becomes the norm, which I wouldn't hate, given it'll still end like in the evening time. But
Right.
yeah, no, I think there's a time and place for them to compete, but I don't think it's now.
Do you think there's ever a chance where WWE would have a show and then AEW would try to do the opposite? Because I think it's going to be the other way around, where WWE can hold off on putting us shows time and date out a lot longer than AEW because they don't need to sell it as much.
Right.
So like they don't need to really worry about AEW trying to slip one past them. My curious thing is similar to this is what's going to happen in a couple of years when WrestleMania is in Saudi Arabia. Tony Khan mentioned that Revolution is going to be a massive show. Now that's very loose and worded like loosely, and Revolution's always been a huge show for them. But if it's around the same time as WrestleMania in 2027 in Saudi, you could conceivably see a massive show with implications of talent and who they could use. Forbidden Door plus. They could have access to whoever they want. So I wonder how that's going to turn out in a couple of years.
Yeah, I was honestly thinking the same thing with the Saudi WrestleMania because it's going to be I imagine, a very polarizing show to begin with. So I think, it depends where each company is at the time. So much can change between now and then, but that might be the time. Like you said, load up Revolution or even, just move up All In if they wanted to. Who knows? But but like I said, so much changes so fast nowadays. It's like, who knows at this point?
Because WrestleMania, like in the Saudi shows, has it not been East Coast 1 or 2 p.m.?
Yeah. So I guess AEW would probably just do an evening.
Yeah,
unless the norm becomes afternoon. Who knows?
But I think that would be the time to let's put a huge show after WrestleMania. Not even to stick it to them, but it's like, oh, well, you got WrestleMania. If WrestleMania, has any sort of negativity whatsoever, you don't think AEW would want to pounce on that?
Yeah. Get Monty Brown involved. That's how you win this war. Bring in the alpha male.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'd love to see him wrestle. Just one more match. He looks jacked still.
Yeah, of course he is. He's the alpha male.
Period.
Juice. Period. Yeah, no, he looks menacing. Just 1 pounce. That's all we need.
Yeah, I'm here for it, man. But you know what else I'm here for? 10 matches on an AEW pay-per-view, baby. This is the standard. 13 matches listed, but there's 3 on the pre-show. We will not get into all of those because we want to keep this short and sweet to the best of our ability, as you're getting 2 episodes in the feed this week. And as well, look out in the future. I will be on the Fall Brawl 1997 edition of the Apron Bumps timeline series, which I've been a part of a few times now with an In Your House show and another WCW show. Didn't I do an ECW show?
Yeah, I think that was the first one we did. So you've been all over the timeline there.
Yeah,
always a hoot.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do is go back and rewatch these shows because I take notes on them there, and I feel like I get such more detail by actually paying attention instead of just taking in the vibes. So when it's WCW in 97, I will be all in or all out, however you want to phrase it.
That's the show we're talking about.
Let's dive into it, man. It has been announced for sure by Tony Khan that the first match, which is smart, by the way, because even with the show starting at 3, the odds of it ending at 7 are 0%. I wager it goes to probably 7:30, and we'll get into that too because WrestlePalooza has announced its first match, which is Cena and Lesnar, arguably the match on the poster. The reason why ESPN is so gung-ho about having this show like it is. So yeah, I can't believe it. So that's going to be the first match WWE runs seemingly right as the AEW main event is on. So we'll talk about that at the end of this show and at the beginning of the next show. Tune in to WrestlePalooza's predictions here on the Juice Box. But the first match for All Out in Toronto, a match that we speculated could have happened, and it is happening. No titles on the line, but definitely title implications. FTR with Stokely taking on Cope and Cage, CNC, Edge and Christian, whatever you want to call them. man, this is going to be exciting. I'm hyped to see their entrance. I'm sure they'll sing Edge's song 15 times in a row in Toronto. There's going to be tears flowing. I think there will be blood flowing as well. I want to say this is somewhat of a de facto number one contenders match for the tag titles because ultimately I wager the goal is to get Cope and Cage one final run with a tag title. How apropos would it be for them to get another company tag title like under their belt, quote unquote, literally?
Sure.
So I think if that's the goal, you got to have Cope and Cage win in Toronto. My Vince McMahon cynicism tells me that in their hometown they would automatically lose, but this is AEW where good things happen to the good guys more often than not. So what say you? Do you see blood and who you see winning?
Oh, I see blood for sure. I'm kind of torn here because you could just get, they're in Toronto. Of course, CNC are going to win. But I feel like FTR, I don't know. I feel like they need a big win under their belt, which don't feel like they've had in a while. And I agree, this most likely will lead to a tag team title shot for one of the teams, at least one of the teams. But who's to say we don't get a series of matches between these two teams? Maybe FTR wins this one, then Copeland and Cage win the next one. I'm going to go FTR here, but this is probably one of the more 50-50 matches for me. And just the annoying, backstage scuttlebutt guy in me is like, oh, they're all good friends. I'm sure Edge and Christian want to give them the rub, but I have FTR winning this one, probably with some Stokely shenanigans or some sort. But yeah, I'm gonna go FTR on this one.
You say put these guys over. Well, we're in Toronto, get them the win. But to me, I think all four of them know that FTR gets over by being in this match, by being selected to be the guys that are arguably the face of this generation in tag team scopes, probably top one or two tag teams, you could argue, in the past decade or so. So to me, just the fact that they have been selected, and they even brought it up this past week of, hey, we brought you back. We helped train you to get back in the ring, referring to Edge, Adam Copeland, back in 2020. We're going to take you back out. So I think the fact that they're even selected to be in this spot is enough to be over. That being said, I wouldn't be shocked if FTR wins, but I think Cope and Cage get the win, and there's somewhat of a show of respect. I don't know if I would trust them. I'd like to see a multi-match series between these guys. I also wouldn't hate, and I'm going to skip ahead just in case here. I feel like we might get the Young Bucks as tag champions during this show. And if we were to get them as champions, damn it, give me FTR, Cope and Cage, and the Young Bucks in a triple threat. I think that would be that might be the match that we all didn't know we needed.
I could absolutely see that. It's kind of a because I feel like the Young Bucks were like the 2000s into early 2010s, and then FTR was like late 2010s to now. You got Edge and Christian was before that. So it's like a generational triple threat that could be. So that would be fun. I'm all for that.
Yeah. So I'm taking Cope and Cage. You're taking FTR?
I'll take FTR.
All right. We'll see what happens. Normally, when I do these predictions, I either agree with everything or I disagree on every single match. So we're off to a great start thus far.
Yeah, I got provide some resistance to you a little bit.
That's right. Maybe there's a piece of food stuck in the straw.
Oh, a kink in the straw,
trying to jam me up.
Oh, okay, well that's for After Dark. That's Juice Box After Dark. Easy there.
And hey, we are recording this on Thirsty Thursday.
Oh, you like that?
I do like that. And something else I like is Big Bill versus Eddie Kingston. Seemingly. However, I was watching a program of a fellow YouTuber, podcaster, IWC conglomerate, and someone brought up the idea of what if Eddie Kingston was just a red herring, and instead we actually get Big Bill versus Chris Jericho. Do you see that possibly happening at all? Because I don't. I think Chris Jericho has already picked his number for the 2026 Royal Rumble.
Yeah, so what would be the story implications? Does Jericho attack Eddie Kingston and take him out? Does he hit him with a car? Does he slash his tires? Like, how would we get to that?
That's for Tony Khan to find out.
I had a similar thought. I was like, this feels like too like we're just walking into this Eddie Kingston return. It feels like there was so much potential for a moment and a return, a surprise. So it feels like a little skeptical is that he's just gonna be there and have a match like against Big Bill of all people. Feels very random. I don't know. I think there are shenanigans afoot here. I guess Jericho could make sense if you maybe want to at least tie the bow on the learning tree deal.
Which that is something I've been wondering. It's like they really didn't do that, did they? Like complete that story? No. So like I feel like Jericho would like to Jericho could be, not under contract for months, and I still think he'd be like, hey, can I finish this story so I can feel good about it so we can put these guys over and I can move on?
Yeah, it is Canada, so it would make sense, I guess. Maybe that makes sense, but it is something.
No, that does make sense.
Sure. It makes more sense than Eddie Kingston just randomly being in a match with Big Bill. That's for sure.
Well, because I think there should have been a surprise with him. I also I understand the logic of, well, we want to promote Eddie Kingston, but no offense, it is Eddie Kingston. It's not CM Punk or so. It's not. Eddie Kingston is coming back. He is more slated as a guy to make that crazy return instead of just like, here he is. Now, I might be wrong. I think the fans are going to go nuts if it is him, and I'm hyped to see him back because it's been way too long. And I think he would actually inject a lot of juice into the AEW lineup that seemingly has been missing. So sign me up, I guess, for Eddie Kingston. If it is those two, I think Eddie Kingston wins. If you say there's shenanigans, maybe you do still see a Jericho interference, something to that effect, and that's where we get the loss. But I think either way, if Eddie Kingston's in this match, he has to win.
I'm trying to put the pieces together in my head to make this make sense, but what if this ultimately leads to Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho teaming to face Big Bill and Enzo Amore? Huh?
Whoa.
Huh? Yeah. Wow. A real what's real one? Is that what he goes by now?
I think so. Yeah. Isn't he? He's part of Fourth Rope.
Fourth Rope. Yes. I don't see that happening necessarily, but
that'd be nuts.
Food for thought.
I saw a video of just was it 2016 or 2017 of Enzo and Cass in the ring on Raw, and I think it was a scripted bit where their mics weren't working, like they got cut off, and they still did their intro with all the fans, and they didn't have to say anything. And I'm like, I just look like all the comments are just, how could you let these guys go? Like, how could you mess this up? But that being said, with where those guys were, and Enzo couldn't get out of his way seemingly, and Big Cass had his own issues. Big Bill is in a way better place now. So if that's what it took, then that is what it is. I'd much rather have healthy guys in the industry.
Sure thing. Yeah. I mean, Enzo, best cruiserweight champion of all time, by the way. I said it.
In the WWE cruiserweight title era.
He was better than Dean Malenko. He's better.
Here we go. You mean Mr. PWI 500, Dean Malenko?
Is that what they call him?
Dun, 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 dun,
the Iceman.
Armbar.
Oh, Dino.
That's not Cyclope.
Thanks, Tony. This is not hot. Or what did Hulk Hogan say? That's not hot. When he was in the Dungeon of Doom.
And he also was like, where am I? There's no Hulkamaniacs here.
It's his best moment.
And it's funny. Like, I look at the Dungeon of Doom segments a lot better than those mini movies leading up to White Castle of Fear and Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal. Dungeon of Doom was quirky.
Yeah, it was something.
It was something. 30 years anniversary of that disaster. But it is what it is. Let's move forth to another insane match, because this whole show, like we've said it before, AEW on pay-per-view seems to be 99 out of 100 every time, if not 100 out of 100 in satisfaction rate. And I think that even if the goal was, well, we don't want to have WWE own the time slot, we can try to own the buzz, and whatever we do to start the night could, linger on. Like if they have a killer card and Cena and Lesnar sucks, because we saw what Cena and Cody did at Mania. We saw SummerSlam was an all-timer, but they didn't do that the first time around. So if they have some hiccups, if things don't really go well on the WrestlePalooza card, if All Out looks great, AEW is going to look a lot better. So I think that's something they can try to manage and take advantage of. And I think one way to do that is with a 4-way ladder match for the AEW World Tag Titles. Brodito takes on the Young Bucks, Jet Speed, and Hechicero and Josh Alexander of the Don Callis family. I really think this is going to be the vehicle for the Young Bucks to get back the titles after losing it all. Lost the EVP positions, lost all their
pyro
and their video music. Graphics, music, money. Although they got Hanson, which was hype. But
yeah,
all that being said, and the bum ass Young Bucks end up winning the titles would be really, really cool. I think the fans would love it because the Young Bucks would treat it as such a rags to riches thing. Like, I can't believe we won.
Started from the bottom.
Yeah, see, and I think you do those guys as champions. You mix them up with FTR and Cope and Cage. Triple threat with those guys. I mean, that could be Wrestle Dream. It could be Full Gear, but I'm all in if this happens at All Out.
All Out. Okay.
So I'm taking the Young Bucks in the ladder match. What say you? And let's just hope everybody stays healthy in this match, right?
Yeah, what are the odds on that one? I like your Young Bucks pick. It makes a lot of sense from story. They're from rags to riches, like you said. I think I'm inclined to agree here. I mean, I guess any team could win it, but Brodito just feels like a transitional title reign to me. And honestly, I'm kind of reverse engineering this. I mean, Cope and Cage versus the Young Bucks, I'm sure that's a match they want to have. They might as well have it for the tag team titles. So Young Bucks, they get a cheeky win. It's a ladder match. You can get a sneaky win out of nowhere, which would fit their whole shtick. So yeah, I'm going to go Young Bucks on this one.
And it's also kind of frustrating because I want Cope and Cage, if they're going to win the tag titles, to win them in a ladder match. That's their bread and butter. That's their thing. And
well, they'll do a TLC match, maybe. It's different.
No, you can't call it that.
Full Metal Mayhem, as TNA called it. AEW could have their.
You can't call that.
Plunder and Wonder.
Nope, they're already having that with tables and thumbtacks in another match. There's all these other names, and they're using every gimmick in this pay-per-view to where a Blood and Guts 2-on-2.
This card looks AI generated. It doesn't look like a real thing that's happening, but it is. It is.
So who do you have ultimately? You have the Young Bucks winning this as well?
Yeah, I have Matthew and Nicholas Jackson in this one.
And I do agree. I think Brodito is more of a transitional thing, but I'm glad that they pulled it off. Just like with the Acclaimed back in the day. And wasn't there another team that they didn't pull it off with the Outrunners, but I felt that they should have. Certain teams hey, they're hot. Let's just do it. What does it matter? You can have them lose the title in a match that they don't really lose in a ladder match, and you get the same result regardless. So all hail the Young Bucks going forth.
I'm trying to picture in my head Hechicero in a ladder match. It doesn't feel like his vibe, but I'm a big old slut for some Hechicero, so I'm looking for. I would love for them to win, him and Alexander, but yeah,
I want to see Josh Alexander suplex a ladder onto somebody.
Sandman or Cactus Jack style. I guess Sandman did it too.
Sandman did it. Cactus Jack suplexed the table at Spring Stampede 94.
Oh, who could forget?
On the rampway.
I mean, that was an everyday occurrence in ECW back in the same time period.
I know. Well, who do you think started it?
Cactus Jack started
WCW.
Oh, WCW was the influence for ECW.
That's right. Well, that was in 94 and they were using tables. I know that ECW was doing it, but Cactus had not left yet to go there.
I think the Dudleys invented the tables there, Juice.
Oh, but who would the Dudleys ever beat? How many
Mark
titles have they
Jindrak and
won?
Garrison Cade? Huh? How many people could say that?
Moments over matches, but we're not talking about WrestlePalooza. We're talking about All Out. So matches over moments. Let's get to another banger. Mascara Dorada, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, versus Takeshita versus Okada. Triple threat AEW unified title. I'm so confused with the titles in AEW, but I'm not confused that this match is going to be insane. Ultimately, much with the discussion of the tag division, I think this has potential to lead us ultimately to the one-on-one between Okada and Takeshita. My God, if that's the match at Wrestle Dream, I'm sold on the whole show.
Daddy,
So,
choke me.
That's right. I think Okada probably retains, and I think Dorada takes the pin. Maybe Takeshita gets the big move on Dorada to where Okada, takes him out and gets the pin sneakily. But I think you're going to get, a face-to-face at one point, an interaction between Okada and Takeshita where, wow, this is really going to happen. Can you imagine if it's one-on-one down the line and then Takeshita can lay claim, hey, you didn't pin me. Let's do this again. So give me Okada to retain.
Yeah, pretty much beat for beat, I agree. Okada beats Dorito and Takeshita is like, hey, you didn't beat me. You didn't beat me, pal. That's how he talks.
No.
Bitch. But no, yeah, I think Okada holds on to this title for a long time. I could see him definitely having a marathon reign with this title, trying to build up the prestige. But yeah, Okada, Takeshita. I mean, this triple threat's going to be awesome. But yeah, a one-on-one match, I think, is where the bread is buttered, as they say. So, but no, I'm looking forward to this one. I think it could sneakily steal the show here. But Okada, bitch, I think he takes this one.
And another interesting match that I am very much looking forward to because I can't really recall the last time MVP wrestled on PPV, but the Hurt Syndicate, they do hurt people, taking on Ricochet and the GOA, Bishop Khan and Toa Leona. I'm thinking of Tamatanga, Tongaloa. I'm like, what are we doing here? I can't pronounce any of these guys' names.
It's a lot.
Because I'm illiterate and I don't know what I'm talking about. But trios match, no title, some pride though. MVP wrestling in 2025, not on my bingo card, but I am here for it. Do you think he can still hit the Playmaker, one of the worst finishers in pro wrestling history?
It's better. And so many people tried it too. Randy Orton tried it for a little bit. Elix Skipper in TNA. Maybe some other
Elix
people
Skipper
too.
in WCW as well.
Oh yeah, the what do you call it? The play of the day or the something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that. But yeah, the old Playmaker, the drive-by boot. I was a huge MVP mark back in the day. So always excited to see him.
I like that they played him up as like a literal sports free agent that just so happened to choose pro wrestling,
All right.
He's like, oh, he's the hottest free agent. I'm like, but where did he come from?
Who?
Yeah, he's just like, he's literally was like generic created athlete that chose wrestling over what other sport he could have done. And yet he was good at wrestling. So I'm like, all right, I'm in. And I liked his, the inflatable.
Yes.
Wow. Too bad they couldn't bring that song back. I'd be hyped for that.
He's coming. And yeah, no, I'm excited for this one, I guess. I'm always been a big fan of the Gates of Agony. I feel like they deserve at least a chance at the spotlight here, which it seems like that's what this is. It's always hard to picture Hurt Syndicate losing.
Yeah.
So I'll probably go with the Hurt Syndicate just as a safe bet. But hopefully GOA and Ricochet, they have a good showing here. I do like Ricochet as an annoying face of a stable, I think works. I think he's kind of found his footing there. They seem to have some pretty good chemistry so far. So I like the faction. Hopefully this match meshes well in the ring. I could even see maybe MVP taking the loss, maybe, perhaps.
Yeah, if anyone's going to take the pin that I would bet on, it would be MVP. Because I don't see MVP getting the pin on anybody either, because that kind of seems less than. Although Lashley could murder one of these guys and MVP could just lay on him. So I guess in theory, but
sure.
I think Hurt Syndicate ultimately takes it. They have to take the pin if they lose, so I don't know if they'll be willing to do that.
Maybe we do a DQ count out, perhaps.
That's why they got MVP in the match. You know what, man? You want to take the pin this time? We're good. We don't want to.
Guy. I saw a report. Earlier that they're looking to add some young blood to the Hurt Syndicate, aka Fall Guys. So maybe now it's Cedric Alexander's time to come back.
Hey, isn't he in TNA right now?
Nah, who isn't in TNA? He might be TNA. Yeah, you know what he is, but that's always
all these guys.
TNA is always a revolving door.
Right, but now they have a revolving door and the same property as WWE. So if they don't work at one place, they easily could work at the other. I'm not sure if he would want to burn either of those bridges just to go to AEW to be the fall guy in the Hurt Syndicate.
Maybe he does, though. Maybe he does.
Well, you still get a payday even if you take the pin. So
yeah, that's what they say.
We pay people.
Is that the opposing faction of the Hurt Syndicate?
That's just when they lose, you know. We pay them. We pay them.
We need
take the loss.
We need like a help syndicate or something. Like we help people, huh?
That's the
just a thought.
That's the first aid. The medical.
I'm just picturing the right to censor in my head. I don't know why, but
don't get me started on. So we hurt people as like, what a great theme song, and then you bring up Right to Censor, which might have had the most annoying theme song. Warning. Warning.
It's good stuff. I mean, I think everybody's still around, right? So Stevie Richards, Bull Buchanan, let's get him. Get him in.
So Stevie Richards absolutely should be there, and he should go one-on-one with Kyle Fletcher. Val Venus, who seemingly is anti-censoring, but was a part of Right to Censor because he was very confusing. I'd like to see him come into a spot and go, hey, explain your character arc how you would perceive it now. And he would just like turn himself into a pretzel trying to defend it.
Yeah, the lore is way too much with the Val Venuser.
The big Valboski.
Sean Morley. Chief Morley.
Oh my God. That's the dregs of WWE in 2003, 4, 5.
Yeah, that's actually how my wife knows, because the first time she ever saw him was as Chief Morley, as I was watching 2003 Raw. So now, and then he came out as Val Venus a few months later. I was like, why is Chief Morley with a towel? But that's like her default.
Do you think she would have been more receptive to seeing Val Venus with the hair OG? Because that seemingly is at least a little bit more believable than bald.
Receptive as in like turned on? Probably.
Receptive, not necessarily turned on, but being like, oh, I get it. When he's bald and he's looking like that, it's like, I think you should have changed your character.
Yeah, at a certain point when he was wrestling in like 2007, it's like, all right, enough with the towel.
Yeah, man, I don't know. He was more of like a velocity guy.
Big velocity guy, the big Valboski.
The big velocity.
That could have been something. That might have been something, actually.
And that was Big Vis.
Visagra. The world's largest love machine. Viscera.
Oh, God.
How do we get to Viscera talking about AEW?
All about MVP, man. We're going back in time. That's why.
There we go. That's
right. Going back to the best part of WWE, 2007.
Prime.
Oh, brother. Speaking of Prime, no, Logan Paul's not on this show.
Oh, I was thinking Titus O'Neil and Darren Young.
Hooah, hooah, hooah.
Right. Folks.
Hey, I interviewed those guys.
Did you?
Yeah, back in college, and I got to do the Millions of Dollars dance with them. Pretty interesting.
I bet they smell great. Do you remember?
If someone smelled great out of the three of us, I can tell you it was not me.
Right. So. Right. They feel like they know what they're doing with cologne. I don't know. There's something about them.
Yeah. Well, they were nicely dressed. They had Raw later that night. That's when they were still the primetime players. Another like athlete type gimmick to bounce off of MVP there. But man, we're traveling down a very interesting straw here during this All Out juice box. let's get the show back on the road in a fatal 4-way match for the AEW Women's World Title. Timeless Toni Storm, Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander, and Thekla. Man, I feel like Toni Storm can hold this forever. But I always bring up the point, whether it's you or Josh Eisenberg or Andrew Baydala or any of the guys I frequent with on these programs. I always say, well, we could predict whoever wins this match every day and have a great time. But I am more interested in what is next, because there's always another show. There's another episode of Dynamite. There's another pay-per-view. And at some point, Toni Storm has to lose the championship. Now, outside of getting injured or pregnant, Naomi, she's got to lose the title to somebody. And I don't know who that is. And I also don't think it should be in a fatal 4-way. I think her title run and character deserve a one-off. You know, you had that with Mariah May. I don't know if they could replicate that with someone else, but I'd prefer a one-on-one for her to lose a championship. I think it's somewhat cheap for her to lose it like that. Now, in a ladder match with 4 tag teams, that's different. But this is, 4 women. So I think Toni Storm's going to retain. But, man, I want to see Jamie Hayter win the title at some point. I really want Chris Statlander to get a chance at some point as champion. I think she is vastly underrated, and
yes,
just give her a chance, give her a shot. Thekla, maybe some other time, but it seems like the odd woman out. I have Toni Storm. What say you?
Yeah, the Jamie, my heart says Jamie Hayter, because I feel like there's just so much more juice to squeeze with that. Because when she was originally taken out on screen, it was due to Toni Storm, which was a lifetime ago now, but I feel like there's still a lot of story there. They always have great chemistry in the ring. So I would like for them to get there at some point. Yeah, I just don't see Toni losing in a 4-way, but at the same time, you could have a situation where maybe like Statlander pins Thekla, and now Toni, if she didn't lose, so she still has a claim to a rematch, and then that leads to a one-on-one program between Statlander and Toni. That could be a fun way, as opposed to like Toni winning here and then just somebody winning a number 1 contenders match, and then we have another match. I feel like that'd be a fun, different avenue to get to another title match, the next title match for Toni Storm, maybe with somebody else as champion. But yeah, I mean, all 3 of these ladies, I'm a big fan of all of them. I'm gonna go Toni here for my prediction, but my heart definitely either Hayter or Statlander. I do like Thekla, but compared to the other 2, I think Hayter and Storm would be so cool to revisit, and I feel like there's so much potential there. But ultimately, it's probably just gonna be Toni again. LOL.
We'll get to the LOL obvious win here in another match or 2, but yeah, I agree with Toni Storm, and like, I'd rather have a somewhat close call in this match and set it up instead of having, well, who wants another tournament? Who wants another number 1 contenders match? I mean, those really don't do much for me anymore. I mean, we've seen how many, and there's more creative ways to do it. So I'm going to take Toni Storm to retain her championship.
Yep.
I don't know who takes the pin. Maybe Thekla takes the pin. I guess that's the easy way to look at it. But yeah, a fan of all 4 of these ladies. So be interested to see. Like I said, with all these other matches, sure it'll be a great match. I'm sure they'll get 10, 15 minutes to kill it, and they'll do a wonderful job. So,
right. Yeah, I agree.
Let's stick with the women. AEW TBS title, Rio versus Mercedes Moné. Yeah, you said LOL Toni Storm. It's LOL Moné. And I don't really think it's not even a negative thing anymore, because it's the only thing. Like, it's the only real way I think that they're going to progress is to get Moné past the Jade Cargill championship reign, which I think maybe another month or so, or maybe a little longer, and she'll have the record. And I think that's all they care about. And then you can start building up to, like I said, who's going to be the one to take it from her. I was at All In where she lost the match, but it didn't matter. Her title wasn't on the line. And I don't think they're going to run that back to have Toni win that title. So we'll see who ends up taking it. I really like Rio, and I know a lot of people complain, well, she's too tiny and blah, 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 blah. Okay, Rey Mysterio was tiny as well, and he became world champion, and he beat a lot of different people and made it look good. And Rio and Monet, Mercedes Monet is not Kevin Nash. Like
most women are tiny in wrestling. Let's just be like, especially if you like go to a live show and you like, it really becomes clear. Like they're all like children sized. Like they're 5 foot to 5'5".
Is Nia Jax,
Exactly.
Even like Rhea is tall.
Rhea's like not that tall though. She's like 5'7", 5'8" or something. She's
true,
like
but
hulking. But
compared
in comparison,
to Rio though.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm going to take Monet. I look for a good match, though. What say you?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Rio. I mean, one of my favorite women's AEW matches to this date is Rio versus Serena Deeb from, I think it was like Double or Nothing, like post-pandemic, like right at the end of pandemic. So she always performs well. She's always seems to be in and out with AEW. I don't know if that's other obligations with other promotions or just, whatever her situation is or living situation is. So I don't see her really sticking around long after this. So on top of just it's Mercedes Monet, and I don't think she's going to lose here. So yeah, I think it's definitely Monet. It's probably my most confident pick of this show. But I agree. I think this will be a fun match. And we'll see if Mercedes wins any more titles on the way there.
10 belt Monet.
CEO. Enough.
Do you find it interesting that she uses the OG Gunther song?
It's not even the symphony, it's Gunther's song. It's a weird choice. I think we've all kind of gotten used to it at this point, but
because they've changed Gunther's music so drastically, and like everything's different, and it kind of got ignored like after the first couple times you hear it. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I like Mercedes bell to bell. The belt collector thing doesn't really do a lot for me. It didn't really do a lot for me when like Kenny Omega was doing it or whatever. I don't know. I just don't see a path to a conclusion with this whole arc, but I don't know.
True. Like I said, I think it's ultimately her and Tony. It's who's going to be the next woman up to who gets the rub, who gets the title after these women have held it for so damn long. And personally, I like the belt gimmick for Monet purely because it's very divisive among fans. Sure. And I love when people get really pissed off about title belts in pro wrestling. Like, what are we doing? Like, you didn't care about any of these other promotions before, and now because one wrestler who's actually really doing a great job and clearly a lot of people have faith in them, now that they have the titles, it's like, well, how dare she be trusted to hold these titles and put them on the map? But like, you can't win. So I like that there's room for that in pro wrestling, because anytime people get set off over pro wrestling, I am here for, because it's people wrestling in their underwear.
That's what it's all about, brother.
And that doesn't work for me, sister.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, but looking forward to a good match. I like Rio. I really do. She's a great underdog wrestler. I like Jim Ross calling her matches too. I feel like he's really he gives the Jeff Hardy versus Undertaker ladder match vibes every time Rio wrestles. I feel like it's like,
make yourself famous.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how I feel. So big fan of that. Looking forward to it. A couple more matches that I'm looking forward to as we close out the All Out prediction show here with the Apron Bump. We've got 3 left. Let's start with Chaos Personified Volume 1. Mark Briscoe, MJF, Tables and Thumbtacks match. Now, reading it like that, okay, there's going to be tables and there's going to be thumbtacks. When I read it with the stylization of the letter N in between tables and thumbtacks, like Guns N' Roses, I immediately think of TNA, where they had the table that had the glass sheet in the table built. Do you think these tables are going to be glued like with thumbtacks on them to start? Because that is interesting. They've done that with barbed wire tables. They've done the shoes with the super kick with thumbtacks glued on them, and I think they did something similar to that. Well, they did the nail board at All In. So to me, it's like you're calling it this specifically because there's going to be thumbtacks, and you don't want MJF to have a chance to not go into them. And dare I say, this match could be, as if he hasn't had matches like that already, this could be the Cactus Jack Randy Orton moment for MJF, because this is Mark Briscoe's out of his mind. I've been seeing clips of him versus his brother in some, I don't know what match it was, but they're just like cracking each other over the head with steel chairs for a shoot. So Mark Briscoe's out of his gourd and is a legend, and he does the Cactus Jack elbow, and MJF is very cocky, and he's the great heel, and the parallels are there. So to me, I think this is a great moment to get that MJF landing on thumbtacks thing, and MJF ultimately wins. Although I wouldn't be shocked if he, gets stretchered out of here and maybe cashes in, although he has to call that out in a week in advance. So maybe that doesn't happen. But
that contract is a looming factor in this, because one could say it's like, oh, MJF, he's going to win this, and then he's going to build momentum on his way to a world title match, but he doesn't need momentum to get a world title match because it's right there on the pen and paper there, brother. So also the fact, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe these two had a match on Dynamite. This might have been months ago at this point.
It probably was. I think you're right, though.
Where MJF won. So I think Mark Briscoe gets a little payback in this one, personally. I see Mark Briscoe coming out the winner here. It's a special match, I guess. And I think maybe he gets a little cheeky little title shot, maybe on a Dynamite at some point after this. Mark Briscoe doesn't win it, I don't think. But you could have MJF implications there. We're booking way down the road there, but this will be. I am curious, like what the aesthetic of this match will be. You mentioned the TNA, the 10,000 thumbtacks match, I believe it was called.
That too, yeah.
Was that a different one? Did they do another thumbtack based?
I think that's what you're talking about, but you know what I'm talking about with the wooden table with the glass in it, right?
Yeah, that might be like different than what. Yeah. Because I think that was the table that they put Christian through, and then they had a pre-blood soaked white rag to like put underneath him because he was so cut up. No, the one I'm thinking of, I think it was Raven versus Spike Dudley, I think, in 2006. They had like this big board. It was by the stage, and it had 10,000 thumbtacks on it.
Was it Rhino? It might have been also featured in a Monsters Ball, because I remember Rhino goring him, Abyss, and he falls through that.
Right.
There was a couple of tables with thumbtacks on it, because it was a table that had like did it have like raised edges so the thumbtacks could just like slide around in there, like they were securely in the table?
Yeah.
So I think they're probably going to take inspiration from all those types of things, but I wouldn't be shocked if they just glued them straight to it, like Darby with the skateboard, or Darby on his didn't he have him on his jacket or something?
Yeah, he did.
Like that type of stuff I think they're pretty in tune with. So to me, I think they're going to go all out. And you brought up all that like foreshadowing, and I brought up the comparison with Mick Foley. I would love if Mark Briscoe somehow won this match, somehow randomly won the world title on a Dynamite. How badass would that be?
Why not?
And then have MJF cash in and have those two have a match. Like,
I didn't think about that. Yeah, I don't mind that.
I just think that Mark Briscoe, for better or worse, probably more so than not, has a higher standing as a singles competitor due to the circumstances. I think he'd probably still be in a tag team.
For sure.
Otherwise, I don't think they would have split. So with him being a single, I think the possibilities are endless. And he definitely has the charm of a guy that like you could really pull that trigger and be like, let's give him that moment. And I don't think a guy like Hangman Page, I don't think any of those guys would feel slighted in the least to be like, oh, you got to drop the title to Mark Briscoe tonight. All right. Makes sense.
I don't think anybody would be upset. The fans. Oh, what a cool, unpredictable moment.
And I think AEW could use that. I don't think they've had that yet. Outside of like Christian beating Kenny Omega on Rampage for the TNA title.
Right.
There really hasn't been like that TV, like Luger winning the title. Luger won the title, like, or Mankind winning the title. Like, they haven't had that to my knowledge, have they?
Not to my knowledge. Yeah, just setting that precedent that anything can happen when you tune into the TV show. I would even say WWE hasn't really done that a lot either. Although you did have like
while.
You did have like Gunther win the world title on Raw and stuff like that. But yeah, it's very few and far between you get those moments. So I'm all for unpredictable stuff like that, those moments happening on TV. But yeah, I think Mark Briscoe beating MJF here, evening their rivalry, and also leading to a Mark Briscoe title match. Even if he doesn't win the title, I think they could definitely run the title match. But yeah, I think it'd be fun. I do like the comp of Randy Orton, Mick Foley. I think this will be a similar vibe. Like you said, MJF has had a lot of brutal matches though, but no, I think the comparison makes a lot of sense. But it should be. Dude, are they on a pole? Maybe do we have bags of thumbtacks on poles, and then like tables on the other corners, and then, or is it like a moat of thumbtacks? Just all around the ring. Who knows?
I want there to be big boxes in each corner, just like the San Francisco 49er match. And then they pull out a box, and it's a photo of like Tony Khan. Well, because they had the one with Scott Hall.
Yeah,
Booker T opening up, but like, what would be the comp to that? Maybe not Tony Khan. What would be a funny? If it was WWE, it would be like a Joe Hendry photo.
Oh yeah.
Orange Cassidy, maybe.
Orange Cassidy,
like a photo of what superstar in AEW would be the perfect, like, God, why is this here? Like
Danhausen. I don't know if he's still there.
Yes,
that would be a perfect.
Yes. Okay, that's what it would be. Okay, like, oh, see, there you go. See, we're cooking.
Or Chris Jericho, just give him like a thumbs up. That would also work.
Mother of God. Hi guys, that'd be ridiculous.
Hi guys, that's what it was. Yes, not a thumbs up. It's the wave. Sorry to disrespect the learning tree.
How dare you? You did not learn from the learning tree.
Timber.
2 matches left though. I'm hyped to see. I honestly, if either guy win between MJF and Mark Briscoe, and if either guy get a shot at the world title, I'm happy with either of those options. So give me all of that. And in this next match, seems pretty final. It's a coffin match. Now, I heard some speculate that this could be the last match because you can't have a coffin match where someone, what are they going to get out of the coffin? Oh, we got to go to the next match. Like, no, they could probably wheel them out or find a way to set up for the next match. So I don't.
Has there ever been a main event casket match or coffin match? I feel like they're always in the middle of the show.
You say, well, you mean, you said casket. Now, was that a slip? Like, are we talking all history?
Yeah, no, I'm saying like WWE's version or
Rumble '94, wasn't it? Or was that in the middle of the show where Undertaker, what he ascended to heaven?
Sure.
Yeah. Maybe Luger and Brett ended that show with the greatest ending to a Royal Rumble. What other casket? Like WrestleMania didn't end with it. The Royal Rumble '98 didn't end with it.
Right.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Call in with your favorite casket matches, everybody.
I think that's all we got. Yeah. So I don't see it ending, but it's Darby Allin, Jon Moxley. I've also heard speculated that maybe without figuring out who's going to win this match, but the guys that Jon Moxley has kind of talked to / recruited, your Daniel Garcias, and you even, what was it, Orange Cassidy? Some of the guys that were around at the end of the Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson thing with a bag over his head could all be tapped into as like sleeper cells by Darby. to kind of get in with John Moxley, only to screw him over and put him away for good. And I could see Daniel Garcia potentially helping Darby in that regard in a coffin match to end the Death Riders for a while.
No, they're never ending, man. They're
not.
This Death Ride's a long one.
It's a very long one. But I cannot wait for this match. I think Darby in any match is just going to go to the nth degree. And him and Moxley are two guys that have already put their bodies in such severe trauma for this company.
Yeah.
And I don't see any other way but that again. And I don't know what it leads to. I guess the winner would dictate that. Now, to me, I think Darby should win this and move forth, which is why I think you get some other entities to help Darby win and move it forward. Now, it was shown that Danielson was kind of in Darby's ear, and I want to say that the speculation, and I agree, is that he said you got to put a plastic bag around his head. Like, this is how you beat him. And I think that I think they might tap into that, which would be kind of nuts. To voluntarily be like, hey, you know how you beat him? Just kill him.
Just kill him, and then the coffin's right there.
It's right there for a time. Yeah, so I have Darby winning this. I hope there's more than one coffin, because I can see Darby hitting a coffin drop onto it. And I don't know, are we getting a wooden box? Are we going to get like an actual... Because a coffin makes it seem like it's a wooden coffin. Casket match is like the fluffy pillows, white inside,
right.
And it's like that heavy, huge casket that is like impossible to move. I got Darby. What say you?
Yeah, well, I think in the past they have used like the little wooden, because I remember, was it All In, the first All In, where Darby did it onto the coffin and like went through it?
Oh my
like
god,
on the swerve
yeah,
or whoever it was. So yeah, I would guess it's going to be that, but yeah, hopefully they have a baker's dozen coffins ringside to.
Yeah, that would be fun. Like the ladders, but there's just a bunch of coffins.
Just stood up. Yeah, this is another one that could go either way. Darby, I mean, you know, he's fresh off of his return. A win would always be beneficial, and this is, I guess, his specialty match. So
yeah,
and you bring up the Bryan Danielson implications, like what did he whisper in Darby's ear? So I think this all leads to Darby winning. I'm inclined to agree. I think the ops are involved, kind of, so they could be the counterparts instead to counter, the Daniel Garcias and whoever of the worlds. I have Darby winning this one. I think it'll be a fun one. I feel like they're just going to get super silly with the finish here. I don't know what they're going to do. This will be a fun one. I have all Darbyster taking this one home. And then John Moxley ascends, of course, because
yeah, that's right. And then we'll get John Moxley versus fake John Moxley at the Wrestle Dream.
Ooh, who would play fake John Moxley is the question.
Don Callis. Well, he's bald.
He is.
Who could shave their head and look like him?
Mark
Briscoe probably could.
Yeah. No, he doesn't have the same teeth.
Any
tattoos, teeth. No teeth. What's Dean Ambrose doing nowadays? You could probably call him up. You know what I'm saying?
There it is. Solved it right there. You're practically right there, Leslie Nielsen.
That's me. Wow.
Well, yeah, I'm all in on getting Dean Ambrose versus John Moxley at the next AEW pay-per-view. You talk about Forbidden Door. We are going to places never before thought of with that idea. That's where we're at here in the juice box. It's getting long in the teeth here. Only one tooth if you're Mark Briscoe. Let's get to the final match. Hangman, Adam Page, Kyle Fletcher, AEW World Title. If any, and I mean any, member of the Don Callis family interfere, Kyle Fletcher will not only be disqualified and lose the contest, but he will be stripped of his, it should be pink strapped, AEW TNT Championship. A lot of steps there makes it seem like Hangman's just going to get the pin on Kyle. Yet, I don't know what Hangman's ultimate goal is. I don't know if they're going to run Like they could have run that Swerve thing back, but Swerve's out for a while. So it's, this gives a lot of credence to, well, hey, if Hangman's champion and Moxley might be going away and Swerve and Ospreay are out, bring up Darby, bring up Mark Briscoe, MJF, Kyle Fletcher. These guys are going to be your new main event scene for the next 3, 4, 5 months. So if that's the case, when do you pull the trigger on a guy like Kyle Fletcher? Do you make him a double champion? Then do you leave the TNT title for someone new to get? I think ultimately Hangman wins. What does Don Callis family interference look like? Do they have to touch somebody? Do they have to just run out there? Because I feel like
Don's always out there for commentary, and apparently that's allowed.
That is insane.
Yeah, I feel like we need
to quote JR, who made that ruling? That seems pretty insane. Don Callis can come. It's like Tom Brady being part owner of the Raiders, but being in the box to talk, and then he gets to call other games during the week again for other teams. It's pretty insane.
Tom Brady.
So,
Don Callis is the Tom Brady of AEW. Everybody says that. So
why? Because everybody hates him and he cheats.
Yeah, basically. Deflated.
There you go. Yeah. So he probably does. Yeah, I think he's taking some medication for that. But
I bet they're really smooth. But yeah, this match.
Yeah, they got a little nick on him.
Yeah, it probably looks the exact same as his head. Oh, that's what I'm picturing now. But the stipulation you brought up is very interesting, that he gets stripped of the TNT title if there's interference. Because during this whole build, I've been like, well, they're going to make him double champion. Like, if he wasn't the TNT champion, I could maybe see an upset here. But who's to say maybe Kyle will risk losing the TNT title to win the world title? Just a little trade ski. So he's like, yeah, I'm losing this title, but I'm gaining this new one. And if I have to use interference to get that, well, we're just going to have to risk it for the biscuit, as they say.
So you think he would risk the interference and but it get caught and then be fine with it? Is that what you're saying? Or
yeah, I think he would be fine losing the TNT title if he gained the world title.
But are you saying that he would gain it in this match? Or are you saying that you're just saying that the risk of potentially losing it is worth it to him and he will try to get the interference regardless?
Yeah. So is it like, so if the Don Callis family interfered but the ref didn't see it, does he still lose the TNT title?
No. Well, could you imagine? The announcers go, well, the referee's down, but we see him. Ring the bell.
Well, the match wouldn't have to end for him. He could lose the TNT title retroactively. You know what I mean? Being like,
no, I don't know what you mean.
Because if anybody interferes,
stripped of his title if he's disqualified. So the match for the
so he has to get disqualified for him to be stripped.
The whole stipulation is that he will be disqualified and stripped. So you can't have one without the other.
I see. I thought it was just if they interfered. I thought he could win the match with interference, but then lose the title.
No, because that would be like that'd be like him winning the title because of interference, and then they look at the tape and go, well, you won the match, but we're stripping you that's a Russo thing. That's insane.
I could see it happening. I like it. You know what? God. That's gonna happen. Mark it down. Kyle Fletcher's winning this one.
I wouldn't hate to see Kyle. I think Kyle Fletcher could be a world champion, but I think that should be set up, I don't know, leading next year as they go to Wembley, Give me Kyle as champion going in against Ospreay in a one-on-one. I think that could be something worthwhile.
I am putting $5 on Kyle Fletcher as we speak. He is a plus 1,200. So,
where are you putting that at?
On betonline.ag, unless you're sponsored by anyone, then I'll say that one. But
we are, but we're on pause with them for right now. And we don't. It's free to play, free to win. Poolpartygaming.com. But I did not know that BetOnline had AEW. I know that my bookie has WWE.
Oh yeah, BetOnline has WrestlePalooza and All Out matches you could bet on at the moment.
Wow, that seems illegal.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Can you do parlays?
You sure can, pal.
Wow. I'm going to have to look into that. That's exactly what I need to bet on wrestling.
Check it. Yeah, it makes it more interesting, let me tell you.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be losing my mind, losing all my money on Kyle Fletcher interference.
You know, I might just put my whole life savings on Kyle Fletcher.
You know what? I think you put everything on your shelf back there. Put the Zins, the podcast equipment at your house, all of it.
I'm sold. Say no
Sold
more.
out.
I'm doing it.
Sold out on All Out. But so what's your ultimate pick? Kyle Fletcher winning here, or
yeah, Kyle Fletcher's winning this. I'm sold.
Winning the world title.
Yep.
And then what? Tournament for the TNT.
An eliminator into an eliminator into a $400,000 battle royal into a tournament to ultimately lead to an 8-man ladder match
at Wrestle Dream
for the number one contender.
And they'll do a ladder match at Wrestle Dream or Full Gear for something that's not Christian, Edge, and the Young Bucks, when that was right there for the taking the whole time.
Yep. I sure will.
Oh, brother. Well, I take Hangman. I think this is a nice moment to see where Kyle Fletcher stands in regards to the highest profile match. I mean, he had the cage match, the lights out match with Ospreay, and he's done a lot of great things thus far. But world title match, pretty big show for AEW. I would say this is probably his most high profile match yet. I think he comes up a little bit short, but I really liked his press conference work after Forbidden Door. Because like the AEW press conferences are, and I know WWE doesn't do them anymore, but AEWs are so much better run, I feel like, because the questions that are asked, no matter what, the wrestlers kind of answer in kayfabe to an extent, but they also just kind of answer them without getting frustrated that they were asked the question. They just kind of take it in stride. When WWE, I feel like you can't answer this. If they ask something about this, deflect, talk about something else. So Kyle Fletcher was, he's an uber heel, and he was, they asked him about, like, who would you want to defend the title against? And he just had like a normal answer, like, hey, I'm happy I'm a champion. I'd like to defend against Mark Briscoe and blah, 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 and all these guys. And I'm like, traditionally, like, a heel wouldn't talk like that. But in this setting, This is exactly what I want to hear, is like your enthusiasm to want to have great matches and defend your championship, but in the confines of kayfabe, where, like, you're not saying we're best friends or like I'm really happy to be in this spot. It's like no, like, so I like how they've been doing that. I like how Kyle Fletcher has really rose through the ranks. I think he's a good character, and I think he's improved a lot in his promo work. So still hung up on the nickname. What are your thoughts on Protostar?
It's so bad that it's good, almost. It's like
I like his music.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. I don't like his glasses.
I love the dangly glasses.
I hate the dangle.
It's very Shawn Michaels.
Anti-dangle. It feels like DDP in 1995. It feels like he just got all of the accessories.
15 gimmicks and not any direction.
Yeah, throw a cigar in his mouth, a cane, a sparkly jacket. That's what Kyle Fletcher kind of feels like sometimes. But
the booty babe.
I appreciate him trying to stand out, though, I guess. Yeah, he needs a booty babe. That's all he needs. He needs to have a feud over a rabbit, right? That was it. No, that was is that him or is that Mark Marrow? With Evad, Dave Sullivan, he had a relationship with a rabbit.
Yes, well, that was his rabbit. And then if you watch a clip, it's on my Twitter. If you look, you'll have to search Disco Inferno, but they're at a dinner. Who is it? Is it Dave and her? Might be Dave and Kimberly, but the waiter is actually Disco Inferno before he became Disco Inferno, which is pretty fascinating. It's in early 95 before he was given that character. So that's a little bit of a deep cut, if you will. So
super deep.
Deep. But man, we have talked for quite a long time, and we got another episode to talk another PLE here in a little bit. But to close up shop here for AEW's All Out prediction show here on the Juice Box, First of all, tell us where we can listen to the Apron Bump, and then give us your ultimate thoughts on this show.
Well, once again, appreciate you having me, Juice. Always a great time here. You can check out the Apron Bump podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as YouTube. If you like the old wrestling, which if you're listening to the Juicebox podcast and you tolerate all of his WCW talk here, you'll enjoy the Apron Bump. I've had Juice on several times. We'll continue to have him as long as he wants to. We'll be doing Fall Brawl 97 here soon. But I cover several different timelines in wrestling, a lot that we've brought up on this episode here. TNA, talk about Ring of Honor, Progress Wrestling, Ruthless Aggression, Attitude Era. So if you want to get your old school wrestling fix, put on your apron, tie it on real tight, and only wear that. And then send a picture to me. And then listen to the podcast. I'm still working on how to plug my show, but yeah,
I thought
check
you
it
were
out.
going to say, I can tell. I was going to say, put on an apron and then take a bump. And you can interpret that however you'd like.
You know what? Next
a
episode,
back bump,
that's what we'll go.
A nose bump,
oh,
whatever you want.
Oh, I like that. Take a bump, you know? Bump. Yeah, and Hail Satan.
Yeah, so outside of Satan, what are your thoughts on All Out as a show?
Yes, correct. Yes.
Going into it, like I said, 10 matches. And originally it was supposed to be 8 o'clock, and they were never going to go head-to-head. And now they've changed it, and I mean, we talked about it for over an hour. The card's loaded. So thoughts on All Out as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I said earlier this card looks AI generated, and it does. And I think that's going to lend itself to be like a pretty entertaining show. I don't know how many lasting impacts the show is going to have. I mean, ENC coming back together to face FTR, I think is probably going to be the highlight of the show. Any Eddie Kingston shenanigans might be headlines as well. But there's going to be a lot of fun matches here. AEW, they always come in the clutch with their pay-per-views, as long as they may be sometimes. They're never short on quality. So it's going to be a fun show. I'll be checking it out. All Out. And yeah, always a rootin' tootin' good time. Well, usually it is with AEW.
Especially on pay-per-view. I am looking forward to it as well. Check out the other predictions we got going on this weekend for WrestlePalooza. So we got 2 shows this week, both with yours truly and the Apron Bump. So for Kyle, I'm Juice, and we'll see you guys next week for another edition of The Juice Box.
That was The Juice Box with Juice Springsteen. Make sure to subscribe to The Juice Box wherever you listen to podcasts.